Guys, in the midst of a fun little windstorm in San Antonio, Texas, we're going to speak to you live about everything that happened this past Saturday, everything in the news, boxing news today, and we're going to preview this Sunday's main event on Zuffa. All this and much, much more on the latest edition of War a Week Boxing, everybody.
W.A.W. presents Big Time Boxing USA on War a Week Radio.
Guys, welcome. Happy Monday to all of you guys. And I tell you what, the guys, I dropped the link in case you guys want to join me. I haven't done this in a good minute. Spoken live with all of you great ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen. But guys, we have a lot to discuss. Once again, we hate to be those type of guys that likes to say, I told you so, but yeah, I told you so. If Navarette still had that punch resistance, that beard, yeah, he was going to be too much for Sugar Nunez. Because, look, and I stated this before. He's so unorthodox. How do you prepare for a fighter like Vaquero Navarette? It's virtually impossible, guys. You can't replicate his weird, gangly, heavy-handed style. And Sugar Nunez, boy, he had no idea. He had no clue how to combat the badass Vaquero from Mexico. Yeah, this guy is, boy, and you know, it like a lot like Evander Holyfield. He fights up or down to his level of competition, it seems. And I stated, well, if Nunez is looking past Vaquero, then he's going to have trouble, a lot of it. And at times, yeah, Nunez had no idea what to do, it seemed. Yeah. And like we stated in the preview, Vaquero doesn't even have to load up on any one shot. He just touches it with those heavy hands, and your face starts to swell up. We saw that against Oscar Valdez, and we saw that this past Saturday. Boy, I tell you what, he truly is an anomaly. And he, if that guy shows up every single time, he's going to be hard to handle for everyone in that division. And look, I know Shockey Foster's calling him out, but I don't want to see that. I don't care to see that fight. Shockey? Jeez. Look, I love Shockey and I love his team. I know his team from Houston, Texas. But, yeah, man, he's a safety-first, defensive-minded fighter. And I don't want to see any of those guys anymore in the ring, at least not for a good minute. That's not what the American market needs. American market needs guys who want to throw down and exchange hard leather. That's what this sport needs on the biggest stages of boxing. We don't need any more guys who look like they're afraid to get hit, virtually turning their backs on their opposition when things get tough. When the going gets tough, we want our fighters to get going. That's it. And I'm expecting to see all kinds of that this Sunday when Opetaia defends his IBF title against Brandon Glanton. Guys, this is going to be an excellent scrap for as long or as short as it lasts. And I'm really looking forward to it. Now, I know most people are favoring Opetaia, and for good reason. But he better not get baited into a firefight on the inside. That's where Brandon Glanton thrives. And I have a feeling he's going to bait Opetaia into a firefight in close quarters. And it's going to become anyone's fight after that. From mid to long range, Opetaia owns him. But something tells me he's going to bring out the dog in Opetaia and force him to fight underneath in a phone booth. Can you still say in a phone booth? Does anyone even know what phone booths are these days? Chingao. I'm showing my age. Oh, anyway, God bless all of you guys. So let me know, guys, what did you guys think of this past Saturday night's action? I really enjoyed it. I thought it was an excellent fight card provided by Matchroom Sport and Top Rank Inc. Thought it was excellent. And there's also been boxing news that Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia had issued the gauntlet publicly, but very intelligently. Devin Haney is calling out Rolly Romero, and they're starting to negotiate, and this is very smart on behalf of Team Haney. I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but it is, because the WBA was getting ready to issue a mandate for his first defense against Shakram Giasov, a fighter who can beat Rolly Romero for pennies. Let's be honest, guys. How much do you think Matchroom would bid if this goes to purse bid, if that went to purse bid? Giasov, Shakram Giasov. How much do you think? Look, if they were only willing to spend, what, $800,000 on Andy Cruz? Yeah, how much do you think they would be willing to spend on Shakram Giasov? About the same. So Rolly Romero very intelligently, or I should say Devin Haney, knowing this, Bill Haney says, hey, let's throw down an offer to start negotiating a unification bout, because they know that trumps any mandatory defense. So they can bypass the mandatory by entering into a unification. Bill and Devin Haney knew that. Very intelligent. And Romero will take the bait. This is why they just started negotiations. He'll take the bait because it's going to be for a lot more money against a very tough outing against Shakram Giasov. Very intelligent of Bill and Devin Haney. Very well done. Very well played, brothers. But here's where they're falling short in their, they think, because Ryan, they shifted gears when Ryan started talking about A-side. And they think that if they pick up another trinket, it's going to make them the A-side against Ryan Garcia. Newsflash, Bill Haney. Another trinket doesn't make you the A-side. Okay, once again, it's the business of boxing 101. It's your ability to sell tickets and draw ratings. Last time I checked, Ryan was the A-side, whether you had a belt or not. Going into your first fight with him, he was still the A-side, even though you were the WBC champ. And he's going to continue to be the A-side because he has a lot more fans. Now, I haven't received pay-per-view numbers yet on the Mario Barrios pay-per-view, but he's a headliner. Last time I checked, Devin, you're nobody's headliner. You're only a headliner if you're fighting a guy like Ryan Garcia. Were you the headliner in your last pay-per-view appearance? No. You were fighting second fiddle against Brian Norman Jr. How about before that? You were fighting second fiddle against the shot fighter from Fresno. Yeah, Jose Ramirez. Brother, it doesn't sound like the A side to me, son. In fact, who else was on that card with Jose Ramirez? And you. That was Ryan Garcia in the main event. Telling me he's the obvious A side. And another belt isn't going to make you the A side, sucker. Sorry. That's the reality of the business of boxing, guys. And you would think that Bill Haney would know this, especially after pulling a very shrewd move and baiting Rolly Romero into a unification, a fight that he's going to win. If he takes Rolly Romero seriously. Let's be honest, Rolly Romero still can't fight, but he can punch. And yeah, he's still, you can't look past anyone at this level. He had better take him seriously, but very shrewd move for Bill Haney. So what did you guys think of Navarette? Stops Eduardo Sugar Nunez in 11. And honestly, I thought it was a good stoppage by his corner. He had no answers. He was just going to continue to get beaten up. Very good stoppage indeed, I thought. So what do you guys think of this fight coming up this Sunday? Jai Opetaia and Brandon Glanton. I think this is a terrific main event for Zuffa's fourth outing, right? Zuffa's fourth event in just a couple of months. I think this is a terrific event. I think it's a terrific main event, and it should provide a lot of oohs and ahs for the fans watching at home. Dude, I just found some disturbing news, guys, that has nothing to do with boxing. Shout out to my brother Ben Thomas. I used to play music with him a long time ago. He's one of my oldest and dearest friends, right? He sent me this band called Skyform. And we were both duped because this amazing band is not a band at all, but a figment of AI's creation. And I'm like, darn, I was fooled. I thought it was a real band, and they're really good. Sheesh. Not good news for real musicians. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Ben, on tonight's show. I tell you what, God bless you, Ben. Love you, man. Yeah, I was fooled. Not good news. But guys, look, what else would you like to talk about on tonight's boxing news? Let's see. Ryan Garcia once again. He's look, guys. Yeah, Devin Haney confirms Rolly Romero unification talks as WBA mandatory nears, and that's a very shrewd move by Bill Haney, knowing that Rolly Romero will choose the bigger money fight against him, his son Devin Haney. That's a no-brainer, guys. Why would he fight a badass like Giasov for virtually nothing? For a handful of pennies. So what do you guys think after Saturday's performance? Is Emmanuel Navarette the guy to beat? Is he the guy to beat at 130? What do you guys think? I don't know. I think he still is. I think he is. He is now the IBF and the WBO champ. And I tell you what, I really enjoyed this Saturday night's event. Very good fights. And I really am looking forward to this Sunday's event on Paramount Plus. And I'm also looking forward to Arnold Barbosa Jr. versus Kenneth Sims Jr. from Anaheim, care of Golden Boy on March 14th. I am. It's going to also feature pound for pound badass Oscar Collazo, as well as Gabriela Fundora. Great fights coming up, guys. Again, we've got also the rescheduled Carlos Adames versus Emma Williams. That's on March 21st. I think it's still scheduled. Then Amari Jones versus Christian Gomez. And then we've got on March 28th, two big-time events. Sebas Fundora versus Keith Thurman. And then, the heavyweight showdown for the IBF Eliminator, Frank Sanchez versus Richard Torres Jr. Also, the return of Yoenli Hernandez versus Terrell Gaucher. And then also the return of Elijah Garcia on the undercard. Then on that same day, earlier from the UK, the return of Moses Italma, who people are proclaiming to be the next big star in the heavyweight division from the UK. Going to be taking on Jermaine Franklin in your 10-round main event. Guys, which fight are you most forward looking to the most? Look, guys, and if you say Deontay Wilder versus Derek Chisora, yeah, I'm gonna shut my shut my show off. Oh, Chihuahua. But guys, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens in the world of boxing in the way everything's gonna play out, because a lot of people are wondering, where well is PBC with Golden Boy Promotions? Is that going to work out? Are they going to be able to keep their dates on Paramount Plus? Or, I mean, not Paramount Plus, Amazon Prime. They've been very scarce in their events. But they've got two big ones coming up. Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman. You can argue whether or not that's pay-per-view worthy even. But it's still a big event because it's one of the only ones coming from PBC this year. And then you've got the big one, David Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez. And a lot of people have been pointing out to me, look at Zurdo. He's much bigger than David. Yeah, he's also a lot slower. David is going to shred him like tissue paper. It's going to be a horror show for Golden Boy and Zurdo Ramirez. So, yeah. Yeah, also. Oh, my gosh. I saw this in the news, guys. Edgar Berlanga is calling out Chris Eubank Jr. Oh, my goodness. Edgar Berlanga, just call it quits, man. No one wants to see you, brother. Like, honestly, I think I would much rather see Floyd versus Manny 2 than Edgar Berlanga versus anybody. Guys, would I be remiss if I said he's trash? Because he is. And guys, why is everyone still holding up question marks about Emiliano Vargas after the stoppage that he had? No, it wasn't the greatest stoppage in the world. But come on. It wasn't the worst stoppage I've ever seen. You tell me, guys. Was the stoppage? Look, I told you guys it was going to be competitive. That's why they chose Quintana. They wanted to see what they had before they elevated him and started competing at the elite level. I told you guys to expect it. Did you guys hear what I just said? Oh, man. Look, can you guys even hear me right now? So I'm not getting any comments right now in the comment section. None. I don't even know if you guys can hear me. But anyway, someone leave a comment, please, so I know I'm not talking to myself. Oh, jeez. Oh, hold on, guys. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, there's the first one. Bright light. Good to see you, man. God bless you, brother. So I posted the link in case anyone wants to join me. Because, yeah, man, I haven't done this in a while. I haven't done this in a good minute. But what did you guys think of El Vaquero? I thought he was superb. And there are a lot of people that I customarily respect that don't want to give him credit, saying that looked like a day of light sparring against Sugar Nunez, that he didn't show up. And I told you guys that this may happen. If Navarette still has that punch resistance and that chin, it was going to be too much for Nunez to handle, because you cannot prepare for a good, healthy version of Emmanuel Navarrete, El Vaquero. He's impossible to prepare for, guys. Like, this is like, you're in trouble if you don't take him as seriously as you should. And it was obvious that Nunez wasn't ready. He didn't realize, well, what he had in store for him. Navarrete is a very difficult fighter to prepare for, and it's impossible to. How are you going to replicate his style in the gym? You give me another fighter that looks like him ever, that you've seen ever look like him, with his unusually lengthy reach and his heavy hands and his odd angles. Like, honestly, it's ridiculous. Michael Shaw, good to see you, man. Yep, best he's looked, I'd say since the first Oscar Valdez fight. Kind of reminded me a lot of that. He just was, yeah, way too much for his, well, unprepared opponent. And once again, that's no fault of their own. It's how do you prepare for that guy? It was a good fight. I wasn't upset with the stoppage. Boxers must be protected from themselves. I do understand those saying it looked early as well. Yeah, look, it could Quintana, could he have continued? Yeah, but should he have? Could he have won? No, he doesn't have any knockout power. Yes, it was competitive, but Emiliano was obviously on his way to a clear, unanimous decision victory. And he didn't have the kind of firepower to turn it around with one shot. Yes, it was competitive. And I told you guys to expect as much. That's why they flew him in, to see what they had before competing at the elite level. Is Emiliano, is he there yet? No, I don't think so. But give him a couple more fights. Let's see how he looks in a couple of more outings, right? But he's still a work in progress. And once again, man, fans are way too hard on these gallant young fighters, especially the ones who take risks. Guys, look, it's like, oh, he gets hit too much. Well, that's part of boxing, dude. If you're a fighter who lets your hands go, you're going to get countered, you're going to get hit. That's just the way it goes. And, it's like that's what's to be expected. What do you want? You want someone who doesn't want to let his hands go, doesn't want to take any risks, like Oshaki Foster? Do you want to see that on a regular basis? No, I don't. That's like saying, hey, Michael Phelps is a great swimmer, but boy, he gets hit, he gets too wet. Yeah, it comes with the territory, genius. Like, fans are way too critical these days, and they're critical about all of the wrong things. Gosh. It's like, Jing Yao, dude. Who, and honestly, I don't even like watching it on YouTube. I can't look at any boxing commentary, especially from the fans. It's nonsensical, guys. It's like you've got guys who try being experts, who try being pundits and experts, when one, they've never stepped in a gym, two, they've never worked with fighters, and three, they wouldn't know a left hook from a fish hook. And that's the God's honest truth. And unfortunately, YouTube is littered with that garbage these days. Yeah. Well, look, guys. Honestly, I'm really looking. Look, I guess I'm going to cut it short, guys, within 30 minutes. I was initially planning to have my brother Adam Lopez come and chop it up with me, but I got a late start, and yeah, I wasn't able to do it. And since no one is able to click on the link and join me, yeah, I think I'm going to call it a night, because it's getting cold. For some reason, it's unusually windy out here in South Texas. And so I'm sure you guys can hear it as well. So I'm going to go inside, and I'm going to get ready for my show with Coach Ronnie Shields tomorrow evening. And it's going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. And I'm really looking forward to it. So, with that said, God bless all of you guys, and we'll reconvene tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. How do you like that? Anyway, God bless all of you guys. Talk to you very soon.